In terms of what you need today for today's class, maybe a strap or a belt or a scarf. I'm going to do a little bit of a stretch on our back for hamstrings that can include a nice side stretch. And if you don't have one handy, that's okay. You can still get a great stretch without. So as you prepare for today's class, in a moment, we'll of course center ourselves with a few breaths, but we're going to just move through a couple of warm-up sun salutations and standing poses to really get some focus in on our legs, and then move to the mat for some seated and on our back stretches. So majority of the focus will be on lower half of the body, primarily stretching, and there'll be a little bit of shoulder work involved as well. So as you're ready, please find a comfortable position. And as usual, try to engage the core to provide an aligned spine, not too much squeezing of the shoulder blades, not rounding of the back, but just nice, smooth alignment of the spine, allowing for a flow of your breath and energy. As you find that position, you can start to soften through the face and the eyes, through the jaw, the shoulders, the hands. Begin to surrender to what's presently moving through your mind. Just a casual observer, not attaching or clinging to any of these thoughts or visions that come up. Then begin to become more focused on the rhythm of your breath, inviting you to establish a smooth rhythm in and out through the nose, incorporating Ujjayi breath if you feel comfortable with that technique throughout the practice today. Allow the breath to be a reminder to stay present. And if you find yourself holding your breath, you're probably starting to exert tension, so just then return to the rhythm of your breath. If you'd like to set an intention for today's practice, you can go ahead and do that now. And then to seal that intention, gently bring palms together at heart center, drawing the chin in and down. Lifting the head, softly opening your eyes as we make our way up onto the feet, but we'll get there not right away. We'll do our usual cat-cow that is just a great reminder of how to synchronize breath with movement and see where our spine is today in terms of flexibility. If you have not already started, you can begin by inhaling as you lift your gaze, lift the tailbone, draw the shoulders back and down. And then as you exhale, start to scoop the tailbone under, belly button towards the sky, space between shoulder blades, gazing towards the thighs. Inhale again, keep pressing through all 10 fingertips. Heels are in line with each other, lifting the gaze, maybe a smile. And then exhale, reversing that curve, creating space along the back of the body, through the spine, the neck, the back of the neck anyway. Inhaling again, trying to even out the weight through the knees, the toes, the hands, and just continue with your rhythm of breath a couple more times. Find your way back to center and doing a couple side to side to warm up the side body. And inhale will be in your neutral position. And as you exhale, you can bring the left hip and shoulder towards one another, squeezing those obliques. And inhale brings you back to center, and exhale, squeezing the right side. You can also look back to the right. And we'll do one or two more on each side at your own pace. Make your way back to center, moving into that puppy dog. I'm going to keep my heels lifted. Hips are stacked over the knees, but hands walk forward wide as you need them to keep shoulders away from ears, allowing the chest, the chin to approach the mat. On your inhalations, you can move out of it slightly, reassess, make adjustments, and then exhale, maybe moving a little deeper. You can also just hold that position for a couple more breaths. Next inhalation, press through the fingertips, lifting the chest and chin away from the mat and drawing the hands back underneath the shoulders. Take the toes, if they're not already tucked under, tuck them under. Lift the knees, start to shift your weight, or rather your hips up and back, chest towards the thighs, looking back at the heels, making sure they're not out or in. And if you'd like to, pedal it out a time or two. Noticing any difference in the back of your right leg versus your left leg. And more importantly, of course, is keeping your spine long and aligned rather than rounded. But if your heels are able to just soften towards the mat, you can go ahead and move into that for one full breath. Exhaling all of that air out and start to look toward the front edge of your mat, and you can walk the feet forward. And exhaling into a soft forward fold. Make sure your feet are probably up about hip width apart for a little better balance. The torso becomes heavy, arms wherever you'd like them. Kick out the head a little bit. Soften all the muscles of the face. And if you'd like to sway around or gauge a little bit of movement through the legs, you can. Good time to check that you have all four corners of the feet into the mat, but toes are relaxed. They are on the mat though. To make your way up to standing, draw the belly button towards the spine, soften the knees and toes, and then slowly roll it up. Feel free to use the legs for support as you do that. The head will be the last thing that comes up as you draw the shoulders down and back and find your Tadasana mountain pose. A couple of breaths there, getting your body and blood used to the standing position. As we prepare for our first round of Sun Salutation A, we're going to do a modified version. You don't have to if you feel pretty warm and ready, but we'll bring hands together at heart center, Samastitihi. As you inhale, bring the arms up and overhead, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, bend the knees to allow that aligned spine as you fold all the way forward into Uttanasana. And the inhale brings you into that halfway lift. May need to slide the hands up to get the spine parallel to the earth. And then exhale, both hands to the mat. Step both feet back. Hold your plank position or your modified plank for a moment, making sure that you've got the torso all tucked in and tight, not sinking through the hips or low back. To lower to the mat, feel free. Again, knees can come first, but try to keep the elbows in as you lower your upper body and thighs to the mat. Untuck the toes, maybe even slide the hands back a little bit more to stretch the wrists, elbows in close as you lift the gaze and your head, your upper chest just a little bit. Hold it there, try to think about the curve of your spine, making sure that it's smooth from the base of your skull all the way down to your tailbone, engaging those postural muscles of the back body. And as you exhale, release back toward the mat, tuck the toes under and press through the hands. We'll come one more time into puppy dog pose. As you inhale, press the chest away, hands back underneath the shoulders, and lift the knees to come into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. As you are for one more full round of breath, exhale everything out. And as you inhale, look where you're going. Bring both feet forward, come into that halfway lift. And exhale releases your chin towards the shins, heavy head. To come up to standing, you may want to bend the knees, engage the core muscles, and come safely all the way up, where palms can meet overhead, and then back to heart center. Round 2, inhale, reach up. Your gaze can follow if that feels okay with your neck. Exhale, whole body as long as you hinge at those hip joints into a full forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step both feet back. And this time you can lower all the way to the mat into Cobra or lower into Chaturanga Dandasana. Feel free to walk your feet up to get the hands back there where you want them. Shoulders away from the floor. Inhale, you're either moving into Cobra or your expression of Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog with fingertips pressing into the mat. And exhale, engage those lower abdominal muscles to lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. We'll stay here for a couple of rounds of breath, about 5. A good chance to reconnect with your intention, your breath, your alignment. Head is still heavy, space between ears and shoulders. One more full breath here. Exhale all of the air out, and as you inhale, safely walk your way up between the hands into your halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, full forward fold. Inhale, safely come all the way up. Lengthen as you go. Relax the toes. Hands back to heart center. Great. We'll now move into a modified Surya Namaskara B, using a lunge instead of Warrior A on this first round. As you inhale, reach the arms up, drop the hips back into Utkatasana. Exhale, full forward fold, taking the knees a bit straighter. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, both feet back. Lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Again, you can still modify through this part. Exhale, downward facing dog. Preparing for the right side lunge, lift the right leg up high to the sky. As you exhale, use the abdominals to bring the knee in and then place the foot between the hand, adjusting the placement for proper alignment as needed. So press back through the heel, toes on the mat, front toes relaxed. You can stay right there if you feel steady and both feet are working evenly. You can bring the arms up into your lunge or even at heart center. With biceps lined up with ears, the shoulders stay away from the ears. Exhale, bringing the hands back down to the mat and stepping it back. We'll skip that middle part this time and just move into downward facing dog. Left side lunge, left leg reaches high. Draw the knee into the chest first, and then your core helps bring that foot forward. Make alignment adjustment as needed. Back knee could come down. Power strong through both feet. And when you feel ready, reach the arms up. Gaze can come slightly up. Squeeze the back thigh muscles to keep the knees straight. Exhale, hands back to the earth. This time we will go through that vinyasa, so step the left foot back. Lower into chaturanga, shoulders in line with elbows. Inhale, keep the outer ankles lifted in your up dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. We'll hold it here for about 5 breaths. Puppy dog is a better place for you to take those breaths, so you can move into that. Taking that last breath here. Exhale everything out. As you inhale, look between the hands. Step the feet forward. Long spine. Exhale toward the leg. For chair pose, bend into the knees, keep knees, hips, feet in alignment, parallel in chair, and exhale, hands to heart center. One full expression of Surya Namaskar B, unless you still need to modify, which is fine. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Right side warrior A, Virabhadrasana A, right leg up and then forward. Back heel spins in, heel to heel alignment as the arms reach up, encouraging that left hip forward. And then exhale, hands to the mat, pivot to the ball of your back foot and move through that little half vinyasa here. Left side, reach the leg up, bring the foot forward, spin the back heel in and press into that outer blade of the back foot as you reach your arms up. Exhale, moving all the way back through. Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana, where we stay for 5 breaths. Maybe you're finding that your heels are a little closer, but with still maintaining that aligned spine, no rounding, no crunching of shoulders near ears. One more full breath right where you are. Exhale everything out. Inhale, look between the hands, both feet come forward. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. For Utkatasana, bend into the knees, arms up by the ears, chest lifting, and exhale, hands at heart center, Samasthiti. Take a moment in mountain pose, Tadasana, reestablishing the breath, your intention. Probably feel pretty warmed up from here. So we'll continue with a couple more standing poses to help open up the front body, or not the front body, but just the legs in general. So we'll leave our right foot where it is, step the left foot back. You're gonna want that left foot over enough. I'll look at, so I don't want it behind me. That's gonna create some balance issues. So back leg over enough so that you can square the hips forward and feel steady through both feet. Hands are gonna come behind you and you can either just hold opposite elbow or you can take prayer position behind your back, starting with the fingers down and then work them towards the spine and up. Try to draw the shoulders down and back. Squeeze the legs to keep the knees straight without locking. And then begin hinging at that right hip crease as you bring your torso forward and down towards that straight right leg. If you start to feel the shoulders rolling forward, try to pull them back, engaging those muscles around the shoulder blades. And breathe. You can certainly release the hands if that's too much for you. With a nice stretch through the shoulders, the hamstring, the wrists. Sending some warmth into the back of that right leg, behind the knees where we tend to store fear, it is said. And releasing that. I invite you to move into Parvrita Trikonasana from here, revolve triangles. So bring the torso up so it's parallel to the floor and release the hands. The left hand is going to go either on a block or on the floor. Right hand just settles right there on your sacrum. This may be enough here as you start to open up your chest to the right. Option of reaching that right hand to the sky. For even more challenge, you can move the left hand to the outside of your right foot, creating a deeper challenge and more of a balance challenge. Check that you're breathing, keeping the neck long, encouraging that right hip back. One more inhale is there. As you exhale, look down toward the toes, release the right hand, and frame the foot. Take one more inhale, and as you exhale, we'll just step the left foot forward, bend the knees, come safely up, and we'll set up for the other side. So left foot forward, right foot back. Create space, back foot is at an angle. And the hips, the feet are far enough apart so that you can actually square your hips toward the front edge of your mat. When you feel established there, you can take the hands into same position you had on the other side, or you can go a little deeper. Again, by drawing the shoulders down and back, pressing the palms firmly, and on your next exhalation, just moving forward. Think about just the only thing bending or moving is the hip crease, spine staying aligned as long as possible, chin approaching shin, toes as relaxed as possible, and think about trying to hug the mat towards the midline with your feet. And then just surrender into some nice full deep breaths, creating space along the back of your left leg. As we move into Parvrita Trikonasana, revolve triangle, bring the torso up parallel to the earth and release the hands. And begin with the right fingertips down, tenting the hand, and the left hand on your sacrum. Begin rotating your chest toward the left. Option of reaching that left hand to the sky, fingers spread. If you want more of a challenge, you can move that right hand to the outside of your left foot, creating a deeper twist, and the gaze can go up towards that outstretched left thumb if you would like. Check that you're breathing, relaxed face. One more inhale there, and exhale, gaze down, hand down, frame the foot, and bend the front knee to step forward and safely come up. Awesome. Then I turn and face the long edge of our mat, taking the feet pretty wide. If available, toes are more in, heels are angled out, legs will stay straight, and Parvrita Parsvottanasana options. Beginning with the hands on the waist or at the hips, draw the shoulders down and back. Same thing as in the pose we just did, in that the hip creases is where you want to focus on your movement. So it's just hip flexion. So think about tailbone reaching behind you as you hinge forward, toes relaxed. And then release the hands to the mat. As you inhale, like a halfway lift. So that'll give you a chance with elbows straight to lengthen from crown of the head out through the tailbone. Keep that length and space as you start to walk the hands back in line with the arches of your feet. And you can always make the feet wider if you need to, as you allow the crown of your head to approach your mat. So you're fighting gravity here to keep the shoulders away from the ears in this pose. Elbows are in line with shoulders and wrists, not splaying out to the side, and quads above the muscles above the kneecaps are engaged. Not too tight. On your next inhale, press through the hands to bring your head and chest up away from the floor. And then walk the hands so they're underneath your shoulders. Gonna take your right toes and straight toward the front edge or slightly to the right and start to bend into your left knee. We're gonna keep the elbow on the inside. We're not gonna go very deep. It's just using the elbow to push that knee a little wide and get a nice stretch through the adductors of your right side. And just breathe into that for a moment. And then we're gonna walk our hands over to the other side so you can move your toes of the left foot out a bit. Right toes are now in line with the long edge of your mat, elbow inside to kind of add a little extra stretch and pressure as you focus on a stretch along the inner left thigh. Begin to walk the hands back to the center. Both knees are straight for a moment, and then heel toe in, a couple steps probably. Heels in, toes out, start to bend into the knees. Keep the knees wide. So you don't want feet wide, knees in. You want the same alignment of the toes. Bring hands to heart center. Reach up on an inhale. Exhale, cactus arms. Good. Back to the inside. Can twist to the left, twist to the right, and then squeeze your glutes to come all the way up to standing and back to the front edge of your mat. So we're going to make our way down to the mat for seated poses. And to get there, we'll just go through Balasana. So I'll turn and face you, but toes are going to be out slightly for most of you, and feet a little wider than hip width. Just depends on what's happening with your knees and calf, Achilles tendons. So move through this carefully. If you have knees that have issues, then you may not want to move all the way down into this pose. You can just come into a seated position and meet us there. But our goal is to work down to where heels stay down, elbows on the inside, add a little stretch there, and heart is lifting. And then if you want a little nice low back stretch, just allow yourself to round forward, dropping the head. And then lift the head. You can go ahead and take a seat. I'll turn back around with you. And if you are going to have a strap, just have it handy. We'll be using it shortly. Begin by finding your sit bones, legs straight out in front of you, toes toward the sky. And slide the hands back in line with hip joints into just a nice solid sitting position with an aligned spine. If you need to bend the knees to get that spine aligned, please do. All right, if you have that strap handy, I'm gonna move into Paschimottanasana. You don't have to use the strap, but it might help you feel it differently. So you're gonna place it around the ball of your feet. Draw the shoulders down and back as you inhale. And as you exhale, you can just walk the hands forward to that strap. As long as possible, spine aligned, but eventually you will need to round it. If you find that you'd prefer to hold the feet or toes instead of the strap, you can do that. I say it a lot, but it's because it's important to focus on keeping the shoulders away from ears. Connect with your breath. Toes and kneecaps straight up towards the sky. Next inhale, you can bring the chest away from the legs and release your strap or toes. I'm going to do a seated figure 4 stretch. So start by bending both knees. And then you can lean back slightly as you hug. Now you can always do this on your back, but this is a seated option. Right knee into chest, ankle is bent, and then rotate at the hip to place your ankle just below the knee. And the hands can be back there for support. They also can help you keep that aligned spine, which will draw the stretch where you want it in that right hip. If you don't need the hands, that's fine. But in either case, see if you need a deeper stretch. You can bring the heel of your left foot in. You can lean your chest forward. You can even, just like you would in laying, bring the hands underneath that left hamstring. But notice again, I'm not rounding. I'm sitting up tall, keeping my ankle bent to feel it where I want it. And we're going to just switch legs. So take it off and maybe walk the heels out as you bring the left knee in and rotate at the hip to bring the ankle just below the right kneecap. Again, you can use your hands or fists to help encourage that aligned spine, and that may be all you need. If you need a deeper stretch, you can drag the right heel in, bring your chest closer to the left and right legs, and breathe. And then release that leg. Strap handy as we come down onto our back. And if you want to use your core to get there, just think about scooping out some ice cream and rolling it down one vertebrae at a time, trying to keep the same rate all the way down. Once there, let's just take a moment with straight legs and arms and make like a lowercase letter L with your body. Reach through fingers and toes. And then as you exhale, hug the knees into your chest. Bring both feet down and knees can stay bent while you take hold of your strap. Going to place the strap around the ball of your left foot. And then allow your hands to just slide down the strap as your knee becomes straight. Don't worry about how high it is. More importantly, knee is straight. And then you can begin walking the hands up the strap to get a deeper stretch in that hamstring. It's going to feel safer on your low back to keep the right knee bent, but if you have zero back problems and you don't feel much of a stretch, you can always take that right leg out along the mat. And just hold on to the strap, relax your shoulders. Notice where your mind has wandered and just bring it back to the present moment. From here, we're going to move into a stretch that will kind of get that inner thigh, but it's also going to get your right side of your body. So you can watch me first. I'm going to take the right arm behind me. I'm going to let my left arm guide me. So in a minute, it's going to look like this. I'm going to be resting my head kind of at my elbow crease. And I have to slide my arm down a bit to get there. And then as my leg opens out to the left side, I can let my left hand help adjust how far down the strap, how close to my foot my right hand holds. And as that left leg lowers, the nature of my right hand position is going to really give a nice stretch to the right side of my torso. So try to keep grounded through your right leg, head resting on your right elbow crease. And you don't have to have your hand behind your head. You can just hold on to the strap without that little piece of it. But I kind of like the nice, lots of places you can feel the stretch in this pose. So maybe just close your eyes. We'll be here for a few more breaths. And then release the arm from behind your head. We're gonna bring the leg straight back up. And it's not gonna go very far. We're not looking for a twist of the spine here. Just take the leg over to the right enough. You'll probably pretty quickly start to feel some tingling or stretching along the outside of your left thigh, and that's all you're looking for. You can outstretch your left arm just to create a balance. We're not taking the leg all the way over. We're not doing a spinal twist. We're focusing on legs. Getting into some of that IT bend. We'll come back up to center and bend that right knee up if it's not already. Release the left foot. Take a moment to just notice the difference in what you're feeling in left leg versus right leg. And then we'll switch over to the right. If you don't have a strap, by the way, you can hold on to your leg. I forgot to mention that, but you can just hold on to your leg even for the side stretch, okay? But if you do have the strap, go ahead and take the hands where you need them, but shoulders stay relaxed, elbows straight. Left leg could straighten out along the floor. And you find that place where you're feeling a stretch, but not straining through your breath or your face. You don't feel the muscles shaking. It's that perfect place of stretch without strain as you soften your eyes and face and just notice. And move into that leg out to the right side. I think the wall is going to be in my way, but that's why I showed you the other side first. If you want to do it like the other side, you'll just kind of slide the left hand down enough to get the elbow behind your head. And the right hand kind of stays there for support as it opens out to the right side. The farther you walk the left hand down closest to the foot, the more you're going to feel the stretch along the left side of your body. And of course, you'll feel it in the right inner thigh, your adductor muscles. Try to stay as grounded as you can through the left side of your body. Next exhalation, release the hand from behind your head and bring the leg straight back up to the sky. And then stretch the right arm out to the side. Leg's gonna go slightly to the left. Try to keep the right side of your body down. Taking the stretch to the outside of your right leg. A lot of low back problems can stem from or be, so part of the problem can be tight hamstrings. So we really worked on those nicely today. And we'll bring the leg back up to center. Bend the left knee in, release the foot. And get the strap out of your way. Let's hug both knees into the chest. You circle the ankles a few times, wiggle the toes. And end with a spinal twist, arms out to the side, both knees to the left. As you gaze to the right. Oh, deep breath, squeezing out all the old blood and energy from around the spine. Bring the head and knees back to center. And then knees to the right, gaze to the left. And the knees back to center. Bring the feet down. Realign your spine. This is where you could move into your Shavasana and mute me, or to come out. Keep the knees bent. Roll over onto one side and press back to your seated position, starting where you began the class. Take a moment to soften your gaze or close your eyes, scanning the body, observing any change. As you bring your hands together at heart center, send a message of gratitude to yourself for not just taking the time today, but taking the time this semester in this class to do the most important thing, which is take care of you, bringing balance, wellness, clarity, healing where you need to be healed, being complete so that you can give to others. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much.